Great design is visionary, surprising and inspired. It can evolve over time or spring fully formed, encourage calm or spark revolution. Great design communicates, tells a story of function and form, shadows and light. Great design requires time, an open mind, and the right tools. It needs freedom to soar and honesty to succeed. It solves a problem and serves a purpose. Great design carves through space, changes lives, leaves a legacy, and transforms the world.
Good morning, and welcome to the 4th annual Vectorworks Design Summit. I'm hoping that you are enjoying your time here in Phoenix. I know I'm enjoying this resort very much. I don't know. I mean, this is just an amazing place. And I like to take this opportunity to give people who selected this particular venue a big hand. Tara, Kim, Kevin, and David. So today, first I'm going to talk about the state of Vectorworks as a company. And then we'll have other Vectorworks members coming on stage talking about the great new features in Vectorworks 2019, followed by some of the future technologies that we are working on at this point. And lastly, I'll close out the session talking about the future of design. As you know, we create solutions for designers all around the world that is intuitive, practical, and powerful. Using best-in-class technology, we create solutions that allow you to model anything that you can imagine. And you can present that with the artistic flair and the precision that you need. That's what differentiates Vectorworks from the rest of the pack. The usability, the presentation capability, and the modeling capability. You see, we are in the business of software development for the last 33 years. We have 675,000 plus users all around the world. And out of that, more than 120,000 of the users are part of our Service Select maintenance program. We are used all around the world. 52% of our users are from the EMEA region, which is primarily Europe, 19% from the Americas, and about 29% is from the Asia-Pacific region, which is primarily Japan and Australia. We are quite popular in Japan. And our other top markets, as you see, are United States, Germany, the UK, and Switzerland. Last year, we created an office in UK. Now we have Vectorworks UK office in London and Newbury. And this year, we started a new office in Vancouver, Vectorworks Canada. We see great potential for future growth in these countries. Wanted to show you a little bit of how we are doing financially. As you can see here, sales of Vectorworks has been very strong. We are on solid financial ground. If you see the last 3 years, on an average, our revenue has grown by more than 10%. And this is just a fantastic result. And we see the revenue growing in the next few years by the same amount, or if not more. We also see a growth in the participation of Vectorworks Service Select, which is our maintenance program. Ever since the inception in 2009, we have added 120,000 plus users to this program. But there are two KPIs that we always are tracking in determining our performance, which is one of them being the VSS renewal rate. I'm proud to say that this is a fantastic achievement on the part of our sales team, that our renewal rate is close to about 92%. And the other KPI, or key performance indicator that we track, is the new professional licenses that we add every year. You can see last year we added 18,000 new licenses. It's just amazing. And this year we are on track to actually add 20,000 new licenses. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the key partnerships that we have formed with some of the companies that you see on the hallway and others. These companies, these partnerships provide us with the resources in some cases, or some new technologies that we integrate into Vectorworks. First, I want to talk about a company called One Tools. This is a company in the DACH region, which is Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. They have a solution called Building One, which is a database for the building elements, windows, doors, stairs, but most importantly, spaces. I say most importantly because in that region of the world, when you submit your construction drawing, you also have to submit a report called room books. And each of the spaces has to specify what are the utilities, what are the different BIM data that is associated with the space. And this is what exactly they have developed, a plugin with us. So Building One talks to Vectorworks by importing and exporting BIM data, and as well as it synchronizes the data with Vectorworks. Next, we have MA Lighting. I'm very proud to say that MA Lighting is a sponsor for this year's Design Summit. We have created a new format called GDTF, along with MA Lighting and Robi Lighting. They are the leaders of the entertainment industry. What this format does, it's a unified way of transmitting data for the luminaires all the way from your design to the production. So you can think of it as a data format that can transmit data between lighting consoles to the pre-visualizers and then also to the CAD systems. Next, we have a fantastic partnership with PRG, and they develop content for us in Vectorworks Spotlight. Through this special partnership with PRG Germany, we support a resource, and that resource actually develops content for us in the entertainment industry. Next, we have Dearsoft. This is a company in Berlin that we are working with, and this company actually created the new module, the rigging analysis module called BRACEWORKS. As you will hear in later part of the presentation, there are some exciting new developments in this particular product. For example, now you can add and calculate bridles. You can also see the stress on the trusses using the heat map. So there is a lot of development that is going on in this particular module, and I'm very excited about this. Next, we have Transoft Solution. Transoft is also a sponsor for this year's Design Summit. And what we have done in Vectorworks 2019 is that we have integrated Autoturn Online solution along with Vectorworks 2019. And what that does is it allows you to simulate vehicle paths from inside your Vectorworks session. You don't have to change the program. You can just do it everything from inside Vectorworks. And last but not the least, we created a link between Vectorworks Cloud Services and Bluebeam Studio in the earlier part of the year. And what it does is it allows you to collaborate on a PDF-based workflow, whereby you can actually collaborate with your designers, architects, owners, and contractors. And then once you have collaborated and marked up your design and model, then you can get them back to Vectorworks and change them in the Vectorworks design. And this is something that is very important, and we see there are a lot of opportunities for us to work with Bluebeam in the construction area. Bluebeam also is a sponsor for this year's Design Summit, and I'm very happy about that. So at this time, I will call on stage some of the members of the Vectorworks team, and they're going to talk about some of the exciting new features of 2019. And then we're also going to talk about some of the new innovative features that we're exploring for the future. First, I'll call on stage Hugh Suffolk, Director of Product Development, and he's going to talk about some of the core technologies that we have added in 2019. Hughes?
Thank you. Good morning. So I'm really excited today to talk about Vectorworks and share with you some of the new core features in our latest release. Now, we all know that searching through long lists to find the class or layer that you're looking for can be a huge pain. This is why in Vectorworks 2019, we're introducing class and layer filtering. You can now instantly find the class or layer that you're looking for by simply typing a search keyword or using filter to display classes or layers based upon specific property. This is a feature that will significantly improve user productivity. Now, we value our customer feedback, and you asked for improvement to the clip cube, and we're listening. You can now use the clip cube on sheet layer viewport. And unlike other applications that have limitation on the visualization of the clip cube, Vectorworks will enable you to use the clip cube on any render view or style. And this gives you the efficiency and capability you need to create remarkable section, elevation, and presentation drawing. Now, talking about presentation drawing. So we know this is one of the core strengths of Vectorworks. And in this release, we are further consolidating those strengths by allowing your user to do mainstream image editing right inside Vectorworks. So this new image effect feature will work on viewport and imported images. So it will let you prepare your presentation board in the same software that you're using to create your design. Now, we know that everything you design has to be image on screen, and it has to be fast. So our vector graphic module is an exceptional screen drawing technology. This makes it possible for you to enjoy a smooth and fast and reliable generation of drawings and views. With this release, sheet layer viewport will now benefit from the same multi-threaded technology previously available only on design layers. And as a result of this, there is no performance difference when panning, zooming, or navigating on sheet layer compared to design layers. But not only that, our vector graphic module has also been enhanced to use what we call intelligent on-demand object tessellation. So this is a multi-threaded algorithm that selectively loads only geometric objects that need to be shown. And because this technology takes advantage of multiple cores in your computer, file loading, view loading are showing significant performance increase in models of all sizes. So what you will see is direct feedback and visualization of your model. And as your views are being loaded, you will not be blocked. The application will remain responsive, allowing you to continue to do other operations. So this was a quick snapshot of some of the core features in Vectorworks 2019 that we know will increase your productivity and your user experience. With that, back to Biplab. Thank you.
Next, we have Ruby Siddiqui. She is the manager of product marketing, and she is going to talk about some of the improvements we did in the architectural design area. Ruby?
Thank you, Biplab. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to present a couple of features that are very specific to the architectural workflow. And I'm going to start with the new data tag tool. So the new data tag tool in Vectorworks 2019 is giving you a consistent and robust tool that can be used to tag information in your drawings. And it's a singular tool, so it actually helps making you more efficient in your everyday processes for drawing creation. So with the new tool, the first thing that you'll notice is that it can be used in the annotation space of your viewport. So what that means is that you're able to quickly tag information independently for each type of drawing. The other thing to notice is that the data tag is actually a symbol-based object. So that means you can customize the tag for how you actually need it to look, depending on what information you're tagging and what type of drawing you want that information to appear in. Also, the tag itself is what we call bidirectional. Now that means that you can change the data for your object via the tag or change the information in the tag from the object. And this ensures that there's coordination between your schedules or your worksheets as well as with your drawings. Also, you can use the same tool to tag different types of objects. So it's a singular consistent tool that actually brings a lot of efficiency to your everyday processes. We've also made a lot of improvements in how you actually generate sections from your model. There's a number of different ways that you can create sections, as well as some improvements to the graphics of how you're portraying information within your sections. First, as I mentioned, there's a number of different ways that you can actually section your model. You can duplicate an existing section line, and you'll have on-screen indicators or feedback to show you whether that section line is associated with a viewport. You can also do the same thing with the section elevation marker. You can draw the section line and then associate it with an existing viewport. Again, this is just giving you multiple ways to actually generate your sections. Other improvements include the ability to add a profile line within your section to help delineate the cut of your section a little bit better, giving you more control over it. There's also the ability to change the way that you're showing information for objects that are behind the cut plane or in front of the cut plane. So you have the ability to override the graphics within the section itself, giving you the ability, again, to customize your drawings for how you want to show that information. And that same customization is available and applicable to horizontal sections as well. With horizontal sections, you can define the cut height, so you have a reference point, so you can give it a little bit more precision in terms of where the section's being cut. And then you have the same override capabilities for information that's either above or below the cut plane. Last but not least, sorry, I'm not done yet, guys. 2D components for hybrid objects, and this is actually one of my favorite features for 2019. And this is all about customization of how information is being shown in your 3D model. There's a new editing mode for objects. This is applicable to symbols as well as other building objects that gives you the ability to define the view of the object. And then from there, what you can do is you're actually defining how this information is being shown in a 2D drawing for that particular view of the object. So you're able to take the 3D object and generate 2D line work from it, and then change that line work for how you want the information portrayed in your drawing. You also have the added ability to define what information is seeing at different detail levels, all the way from a low detail level to a high detail level. So again, what this means is that you have the ability to customize information for different views of the object at different detail levels, including section cut views. So it's not just about the elevational views. And when you have multiple objects where you've defined the 2D representation as well as the detail level, within the viewport itself, you can define the detail level, again, giving you the ability to customize how information is being portrayed from your 3D model. So all these features I've talked about are not just about efficiency, but more importantly, they're about how information is being represented in your drawing and giving you that customization and control that you need. Now I'm done. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Biplab.
Thanks, Ruby. Next we have Eric Gilby, Manager of Product Marketing, and he is going to talk about the improvements that we have made in the Vectorworks landscape. design.
Thank you, Biplab. Thank you. Good morning. So we've already known that Vectorworks Landmark has been the only all-in-one solution that provides you the ability to advance your site design, also your site modeling, your presentation, irrigation, and documentation, but also that landscape-specific BIM. But one of the things that we wanted to show this year was how Vectorworks Landmark 2019 continues to advance your site design in those efforts. I've grabbed 3 different features that I think are going to be most meaningful to us in the landscape industry, but I think one of the ones we're most excited about is the site model surface sculpting. So with the site model surface sculpting, you know that we've already had the ability to make existing and proposed terrain surfaces. And we've already had the ability to take general surface editing solutions like site modifiers and making changes to the terrain surface that way. We've also, as of last year, had the ability to do editing of contours directly. But starting this year, now you can take that surface and directly push and pull, whether it's a point, an edge, or a shape within that terrain model, to be able to make those kind of push-pull fluid dynamic changes. Now, unlike what we see with some of the other freeform modeling solutions, you also have the ability to do this with a flat surface that creates that same kind of push-pull methodology with that just what we call a site model from boundary. But you also have the ability to take both of those existing and proposed surfaces and analyze them for cut and fill, for slope, and even surface water drainage flows. So it's really giving us that great advantage over some of the other solutions that are out there. Another feature that I wanted to bring forth is the 3D hardscape components. And it's interesting, I don't know if any of you have had a chance to work with the hardscape yet this year, but you probably are starting to recognize it acts a lot like the slab object. And that's because we're making use of slab styles within the hardscape now. So what this means is that you can now quickly go into the object information palette and click on either the main area components or the border area components and start making selections on what those material layers are going to look like within your hardscape. So you can go in and start assigning a name to the components. You can also assign a 2D representation for what you might see in a section view. You can assign a 3D texture for what it would look like in a 3D modeled view. But I think it's really going to be a great advantage to us now because going beyond what we typically get from area and perimeter takeoffs, we can now get depths and volumes out of that. Okay? The other thing that I think is important out of hardscape components is that it's giving more data to our worksheets. So if you take the worksheets and you start calculating information from it, you've already had the ability to do so with area and perimeter, but now you have the ability to take material depths into consideration. You also have the ability to get volumes out of that. So if you're specifying how much that hardscape might weigh if you're designing over structure, now you can get that information because you're getting the volume report out of it. You also have the ability to get depths out of it. So if you're getting ready to establish how much tonnage you need for compacted aggregate for a hardscape installation, you now have that. And even though we have a lot of other features we could certainly introduce today, I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing now with point cloud improvements. So a lot of people are starting to use LiDAR and other kind of survey techniques that are gathering meshes and points and things like that from site survey information. And it's really, in Vectorworks, going to be about how we manage those point clouds. So when you take a look at how a point cloud is being managed, starting this year, you have the ability to merge multiple point clouds. So if you had multiple point clouds that you were starting off with, they can now become one that makes it even easier to manage. Let's say, for example, you decide you want to reduce the amount of points in that site model or in the point cloud, that you have that ability to do that and then start using those points to establish a terrain model out of it. Maybe you decide to crop it. There's other ideas that our designers like with the idea of being able to assign colors to the points that are in your point cloud. Being able to understand directly from those elevations what you might be able to analyze even before it's been turned into a terrain model, something like floodplain analysis. Okay? And one last thing, we do have the ability to work with PLY file formats now. So amongst the rest of the collection of point clouds file formats that we manage, now we can include PLY as one of those formats as well. those are the three features that I wanted to bring forth to you today. I invite you to come and talk to us at any time during the conference or afterwards about what else is new in Vectorworks Landmark 2019. But I thank you for using it, and thank you, Biplab.
Thanks, Eric. Next we have Jeremy Powell, Senior Director of Marketing, and he is going to talk about what's new in the entertainment world for Vectorworks 2019. Jeremy?
Thank you, Biplab. A few moments ago, you heard Biplab mention an exciting new partnership for us with MA Lighting and Roby Lighting. And that partnership was to work on a new open standards format known as the General Device Type Format, or GDTF. We were overwhelmed when we announced this earlier this year by the outpouring of support from all of you in the industry, and even more so from the manufacturers who very willingly pledged their support to do GDTF. In fact, many of them right now are working on GDTF files, and the momentum is building to see this come to fruition. But why did we do it? GDTF was conceived to solve a very important problem. You see, for far too long, the users in this industry have had to suffer because of a non-unified format. That suffering led to inefficiency, and this is something we wanted to solve. And that's what we're excited to bring GDTF forward. Now, if one new file format wasn't enough, these partners also worked together to develop what's known as My Virtual Rig, or MVR. MVR is very important for you as Vectorworks users. It's an interface for you to send GDTF files to a previs app or to a console that's supporting it. And it's actually quite simple. It's an exciting thing that we jointly developed with our partners. But what it does is it contains the GDTF information within your design. It contains the 3D model information, the positions of the lights and the truss and pipes. It contains the texture information. It creates a virtual rig environment that is communicated consistently throughout from start to finish. That's what My Virtual Rig is all about. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite features. In Spotlight 2019, we introduced a new numbering command for Spotlight users. This is exciting for one simple reason. Before, you had to use multiple different methodologies to tag the information in your design. Now, you have one intelligent interface to number and choose your styles for numbering anything in the design, whether it be the lights, whether it be the seats, the stage decks, whether it be the chandeliers in a room. It's very simple, and it speeds up your documentation. Biplab also mentioned a moment ago BRACEWORKS, our rigging analysis solution. We introduced this just 1 year ago, and it's been wildly successful for us, and so much so that we were able to identify, thanks to our users, one critical area to improve, and that's the addition of BRIDLE analysis. Quite simply, you can now, in 2019, when you're using Spotlight and these tools with BRACEWORKS, you can customize the length of the legs of your bridles, calculate the deflection and reaction forces, and then you can also manage the 2, 3, and 4-point systems that are commonly used, and then output the calculations and schematic views that are needed for structural engineers. So this is really taking BRACEWORKS to the next level, and we're excited to see where this product is going in the future. And then lastly, I'd like to share with you some very exciting performance improvements. I can honestly say, for the first time, this is the vision you've been waiting for. Vision has a very sleek user interface now. It has the ability for you to save your render and document settings, to easily recall them, so that you can create your favorite looks over and over again with new shows. But on top of that, the performance has been improved to handle specular lighting and fall off. in even the most complicated of files. This is a tremendous improvement for vision. But on top of all of that, there's now up to 7 times faster frame rate performance. This is unheard of, and this is an incredible accomplishment by the engineers at Vectorworks to have redone vision for us. So with that, I'd like to just conclude my portion here and say these are just a few elements in Spotlight, in BRACEWORKS, in Vision. I invite you to come see the Previs studio out there, because there's an amazing ability for you to see my virtual rig workflow in action, which is already connected between Spotlight and Vision and the MA3 board there. And we're thrilled to bring all these exciting enhancements to you, and we cannot wait to see the amazing performances you create. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Next, we have Juan Almanza, Director of Customer Success, and he's going to talk about a new way of training in Vectorworks. Juan?
Thank you, Biplab. Good morning, good morning. Wow, we got full house today. So I'm super excited about this new technology update, the LMS, the Learning Management System. So we're today, 2018 Design Summit, the ultimate training experience, and there's nothing better than for me to give you a sneak peek of this platform. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a quick video behind me. I'm going to show you the current state of our LMS while I'm telling you what it's all about. Sounds good? All right. So let's go. The LMS, all right, it's playing now. Okay. The Learning Management System. This is our new e-learning platform that it will serve as the main repository for training information. Here, you will not only find tech tips, how-tos, tutorials, but also curriculum-based classes, industry-specific learning path, onboarding programs, and way more, with the step-by-step instructions, videos, progression files, and even exams and quizzes that it will become an instrumental part of our certification program. And yes, you heard that right. The official certification programs for Vectorworks users will be hosted in our LMS. So what's our main goal? What are we trying to accomplish? First and foremost, to create more successful customers by providing you with a platform that it will help you and your team members to become more proficient with Vectorworks, to take your knowledge, your productivity to a higher levels. In addition, this platform will provide you with, it will be some admin tools that you will be able to create your own onboarding programs, so you can train, track the progress of your new team members. So, in the nutshell, this is what the LMS is all about. So, what's next? First, I'm happy to report that we are on track to releasing this platform at the beginning of next year. And 2, when we get back home, you will be getting a survey from us, where we're going to be asking you how we did, throughout the whole summit. In here, we will ask you also to help us name this LMS. At the end, we are building this platform for all of you, our users. And I think it's only fair that you will be involved in this process. So for the next 2 days, I'll be running around throughout the hallways of this beautiful hotel. Please stop me, ask me more about the LMS. Tell me if there's something that you want to see, something that you want me to consider. My goal is to make of this LMS the one-stop shop for all your training needs. So with that said, I hope you keep enjoying the 2018 Design Summit, the ultimate training experience. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Back to you, Biplab.
Thank you, Juan. Next, we have Tolu Fafahanda. He is the manager of the quality response team, and he is going to talk about our commitment to quality and how we are trying to improve quality in Vectorworks. Tolu?
Thank you very much, Biplab. This morning, I'm going to talk to you about our drive for quality. More than ever, we are determined to delivering quality. You trust us to create high-quality software that you need to support your businesses and your creativity. And we strive to offer you the best solution possible. And we are determined to continue to improve the quality of Vectorworks. This continual improvement has a domino effect. When we identify an individual issue and we improve upon it, we can concretely improve the workflow of all our users. For example, when we improve project sharing for a specific design firm, we can take the knowledge we gained through troubleshooting and apply it to the software as a whole, which benefits all users down the road. Here are some examples of areas that we've improved over the last year. The time to open up file is faster. The selection of objects takes less time. And it is more efficient to copy and paste objects in Vectorworks 2019. In short, we've made improvements in areas that would have a profound and a positive effect, irrespective of your workflow. Now, there's nothing more exciting than metrics that justifies your investments, right? The time we've spent on quality over the last year is already paying dividends. Over the past year, we've dramatically improved the stability of Vectorworks. What does this mean to you, you might ask? It means fewer technical issues, less downtime, so you can spend more time designing and less time worrying about the technology. We've been so focused on quality that late last year, we created the quality response team, made up of our own software engineers. The goal of the quality response team is to ensure your continued success using Vectorworks. We've come to Arizona with our eyes and ears wide open. We want to hear your ideas and your feedbacks. Please stop by our table in the expo hall during the summit. We would like to hear what you would like to see improved in a future version of Vectorworks. That's our drive for quality. Now back to Biplab.
Thank you, Tolu. Next, we have Ian Len, manager of platforms, and he's going to share with you some new ideas of user interface and user experience in Vectorworks. Ian?
Biplab. Good morning, everyone. Hello. I want to talk to you about the UI UX of Vectorworks. And what is the UI UX? It stands for User Interface and User Experience, which is the look and design of the software, as well as how the user works with it. And this is a great time to be a designer, and I want to share some exciting ideas with you. But first, let's take a step back and look how far we've already come. Does anyone remember these days? I had some software like this in elementary school. Small, blurry icons, floating palettes, simple menus. The software of the past left a lot to be desired. But look where we are now. Multi-view drawing, docked palettes, high-resolution icons, and a beautiful resource manager. The present already looks bright. But is it too bright? It's really bright up here. Maybe it's hurting your eyes. There might be something I can do about that. Yes. There we go. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Do you prefer a more relaxed, subdued environment for your work? Then Vectorworks Dark Mode might be the answer. It has function and style, and it just looks really cool. Now, obviously, the look of Vectorworks is important, and things like Dark Mode are a great start. But we want to think even bolder. We want to do more. We can imagine a completely redesigned Vectorworks user interface with more graphical dialogues, resizable icons, new palette behavior, new view bars, and that's the future that we're working to bring to you. And we've talked about the UI a little bit, but let's not forget about that user experience part that I mentioned earlier. An improved user experience involves more streamlined workflows, less dialogues, and fewer disruptions when you're working. What do we all want to do? We want to work faster. And in this example, the user is editing the colors that a class is using directly in the navigation palette without opening up a dialog. Doing something like this will definitely save time. Do you want to rename a class? No problem. Being able to do these things in the navigation palette involves a more immersive workflow. No one likes it when they have to open up a dialog that opens up another dialog, another dialog. That's just annoying. The navigation palette already provides excellent behavior, so let's just expand it and make it even better. Another point of emphasis is improving our users' access to the already great functionality that Vectorworks has, with things like on-screen shortcuts. In this video, we see the users editing the annotations of a viewport. This is a very common, simple operation, and something that normally requires a right-click to open a menu, followed by selecting the option. But in the video, the user is using an on-screen widget that provides the same functionality with just a single click. And saving clicks is always a good thing. Now, on-screen widgets also allow us to expose functionality. Things that might be buried in a menu or hidden behind a shortcut can now be right on screen at the push of a button. Now, if Vectorworks knows that after drawing a wall, for example, you like to edit the style of the wall, then why can't we put a button right there on the screen for you to get you there faster? And these are just small examples, but on-screen editing is a powerful tool. Imagine being able to edit the width of a door or a window directly in the drawing without having to go to a dialog or the object info palette. We already do things like this with dimensions, but we want to expand that concept and make it better. This provides a more direct, immersive workflow that's always better. Now, to finish up, let's look at one more powerful idea, an on-demand menu. Everyone likes having power at their fingertips. And what you see here is the user is drawing some simple objects on the screen and changing the mode of their tool without having to move the mouse away from where they're working to do that. A menu like this can also provide a customized area for shortcuts or menu items or your favorite tools that you might like to add. Do you have some favorite tools? Well, then go into your workspace and edit it and add them to the on-demand menu. This menu can provide an area for it's a mode bar, the view bar, and your toolbars all combined into a single on-demand menu. But it should also be smart. As I mentioned earlier, Vectorworks can learn the way that you work. If after drawing this type of 3D geometry you like to use the flyover tool and you do that all the time, Vectorworks can learn that and know that you want to do that and put the flyover tool directly in the on-demand menu for you so you don't have to go to the workspace editor and do it yourself. And that's just a way to work smarter. Now, these are just a few of the exciting ideas that I want you to think about as we move into the future of the Vectorworks UI. But I invite you to come meet me in the hallway out there and talk to me about these things, because I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. Next, we have Dave Donnelly, Director of Product Technology, and he's going to talk about some of the future technologies we are developing at this time. Dave?
Thank you, Biplab. Good morning. There is a contract between us as a company and you as customers who have invested in us. Part of our job is to keep track of technology and to develop it for things that will help you in the future. So here we want to share at the summit some of the things that we're working on for you. First thing I want to show is machine learning. It's a form of artificial intelligence that can do almost magical things. And the research team has hooked it up to Vectorworks on cloud and on the desktop. In this demonstration, we're showing image style transfer, is what it's called, where you can train a neural network to Van Gogh's Starry Night painting in this example. And then we're using Python and Marionette as prototyping tools to develop this new feature. So we've added machine learning using Python in VectorScript. And it can take that kind of boring grayscale rendering and make it interesting. What that means for you, as a user, as a customer, is that you can get interesting results with almost no effort and no time. That's the value to you. So that's the first example of machine learning. We're showing that out here. The second one is what's called machine-learned upsampling. So you take a medium resolution rendering, let's say, and instead of waiting to re-render that at final presentation resolution, you can use machine learning to upsample that image, and it adds details in the parts of the image that already have detail. And in comparison to just zooming in, it doesn't look blurry. It actually adds details to the grids that you see here. So those two things we think can save you time because you don't have to re-render. You can just upsample it. It like boosts the resolution. The mobile team has been very busy adding augmented reality features to our Vectorworks Nomad mobile application on iOS and on Android. And in this first example that we're showing, we're developing what we call augmented reality BIM data display. And in this example, we have Nomad showing a model in augmented reality on an iPad. And when you tap on an object, it will pop up a little panel that shows the information that has been already attached to that object. Ruby showed data tags earlier in the presentation, and so we want to show things like the data tags that you're already defining in your models, plug-in fields, and IFC data. In the second augmented reality example, we're showing a measuring application. So we're using Vectorworks Nomad and an iPad and tapping on the corners of a room to gather the measurements of the interior edges of this room. We take that polygon and we import it into Vectorworks and automatically create Vectorworks walls, windows, and doors from the dimensions that we gathered, that we captured. Since an interesting mix here, we can take that model and bring it into reality and show it in augmented reality and Nomad as well to compare it. So you can show your existing and proposed conditions, I guess. The cloud team, Vectorworks Cloud Services is available to all Vectorworks users. And earlier this year, the cloud team shipped the Photos to 3D model, photogrammetry, reality capture feature. And they also built custom rendering hardware to make your cloud renderings faster. Here at the summit, we're showing a cloud-based web application that allows you to link RenderWorks panoramas together into a presentation. So what this allows you to do is to have hotspots that are defined in the different parts of your design that take you from room to room. There's a map view that comes up, and there's a list view that comes up. And what that means for you is that you can do these panoramas and then share that presentation with your clients. It's a very easy to use and compelling way to present the design. And then next week is our biannual Innovation Expo at our home office in Columbia and our satellite offices. And this is when we take the time to step back and think about innovation in our products and in our features and our services to you. And so we invite you here at the summit to come and talk to us and share with us your challenges and your ideas so that we can go back and think about innovative ways of dealing with those things and making your lives simpler, more productive, and more profitable. And as an introvert, I'm looking forward to having 600 one-on-one conversations with you over the last 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. I want to thank all the members of the Vectorworks team. Wasn't that great? Fantastic. So now that you have seen what we are working on, the exciting things, I would like to end by discussing a little bit about some of the design trends that I see for the future. One of the new design trends that I see is the smart cities. By 2050, 70% of the population will live in the cities. And for that to happen, we need to plan for smart cities, which are more livable, and they're well connected, better planned. And for smart city planning, we need simulation of noise pollution, simulation of traffic congestion, simulation of energy consumption, as well as how to mitigate natural disasters like earthquakes, flood, Vectorworks Landmark and Vectorworks Architect already can do city and regional planning, but we want to play in this particular field and want to add more functionality to that. So this is one of the areas that is tying into Vectorworks as we move along. The next one is eco-friendly practices. You probably know that the operation and maintenance of a building costs 80% of the running cost of the building in its lifetime. And that cost can be reduced by 1/3 if you actually adopt green energy initiatives in terms of the energy consumption and the water consumption of the building. Vectorworks can calculate the energy consumption of a building during the design phase, and we want to enhance that functionality so that we can extend it to better conserve energy as well as reduce the carbon footprint. Next, I'm going to talk about a little bit about BIM. As you know, BIM adoption in various parts of the world is increasing. You can see from 2015 to 2020, there is an increase in the BIM market size. It is increasing, almost doubling the size. And we want to invest in BIM workflows and the BIM features in Vectorworks. But there is another factor that is influencing the BIM adoption, which is the government mandates and the local regulations. As you can see, there are some countries which are mandating and actually have local regulations for adopting BIM. And then there are others, like which are adopting BIM with the recommendation from 2017. And then there are the third category, which are just now trying to put together the BIM guidelines for their countries. And even if you have mandate, as you can see in this bar chart down below, like in UK, we have a mandate. But there is a survey, and the survey says that only 50% of the companies have adopted BIM. And it will take them another 5 years to get to 95%. And we are seeing that in our sales of Vectorworks in those countries where there is BIM is recommended, and we are seeing an uptick in the Vectorworks adoption in these countries. Of course, Dave talked about augmented reality, and we also have virtual reality and machine learning that we are working on. And these are great tools for your design purposes. But these are also great tools in the construction sector. If you can look at what is happening in the construction sector in the last 2 years, the maximum amount of seed money for the startups are going into the construction sector. And we want to play in that area also. And so this is one of the other trends that we want to adopt. So that's all I had in terms of the presentation this morning. I hope you enjoyed learning about Vectorworks and the future of design. I want to thank my team who put together this presentation, the communications team and the graphics team, Brandon, Tara, and we have Lisa, Rowena, Diane, and David. And I really want to thank you for joining us in this year, at this year's Design Summit, and I hope you have a good day and you enjoy your sessions. Thank you very much. Before we break, we have our Director of Channel Operations, Tara Grant, and she's coming here to share about some of the housekeeping items that she has to talk about.
Thank you, Biplab. Let's give another round of applause for all of our speakers in Biplab today. I don't have any fancy slides. I have a bunch of boring details, but they're important. So I have just a few bits of information I want to share with everyone so you can get off to your first session this morning. If you haven't noticed, we have a Design Summit app you can download to your phone. When you're using the app, you want to make sure you have location and notifications enabled on your phone so you can get updates throughout the conference. We also have a printed agenda available, so if you don't have the app, you can reference all the information in there. Today we'll have lunch from 12:30 to 1:30 on the Acamel lawn, and tonight we have a great party planned for you from 7 to 10 p.m. tonight on the Hem and Pick lawn. We will have dinner, drinks, dancing, and lots of fun activities, so you want to make sure you don't miss that. And then when you have some time, if you could stop by our sketch wall and make sure you leave your mark on that, it would be great if we could have that filled up by the end of the conference. And if you haven't noticed, we have a lot of people here today. Our next session starts at 10:30. It would be great if you could be timely in making your way to your sessions. Everyone needs to get their badge scanned and make sure you're seated so we can be started promptly. So with that, have a great conference and enjoy your day.